All right, that's funny. Yeah, sometimes it's best for you guys not to know what we've just been talking about. Hey, welcome into the Stephen Bethany Hopecast, getting the episode 44 getting underway here momentarily. And we're glad you're watching here on Patreon, here the pre-show. So when we last visited with Caleb, he had just proposed to Ellie. And he is now officially engaged to become the heir of the Hootens football magazine empire here in Arkansas.
So, Caleb, now that it has been a full week and a few days, how are you feeling? How are you processing everything?
Well, it's been crazy because I also moved out.
You did?
Parents kicked you out already?
Yeah, I got an apartment.
Attaboy.
Okay, that's a big deal. So
you're getting married, get out.
Yeah.
What's the living situation? Do you have a roommate? Are you living by yourself? How are you functioning?
Got a roommate. We grew up together. Actually, he moved up here to work. So
how was that conversation? Hey, dude, I'm just going to need a roommate for like 6 months.
Well, yeah, so we signed a year lease. It works out good. Because
if you don't mind me asking, how much you pay for that?
Stop. That's what we were talking. Okay, for context, we need to give context. This is what we were talking about. We were saying, is it possible to ask people incredibly personal questions as long as you follow it up with, if you don't mind me asking?
Right. Because I have a friend that does that exact same thing. Go ahead.
For guys, it's normal. Like if they got a brand new truck, I'll be like, "Hey man, I love that truck. How much did you pay for that?"
Right.
For guys, that's normal.
Really?
I guess. I don't know. I never had the nerve to do it.
Asking any financial questions, I just think is like kind of off limits.
How much you make in a
because
year.
here's the thing though, especially with trucks or any kind of cars or whatever, somebody is always going to have a better deal. Man, you got screwed on that. Man, you paid way too much. I went and paid $5,000 less than what you did. You ought to really go get your money back or something.
My thing is,
that's just a hassle I don't want to have to deal with.
I'll never share how much I paid for something unless I got an insanely good deal.
Right.
Like one time I went to Target and I thought I was buying jeans that were $30, but I looked at the tag and I was like, ooh, they're on sale for $17. I'm going to get them. I rang them up and they were only $11. And I yelled it from the rooftops. I was like, these are $11 jeans. Look.
I know that you did because I've heard this story
I told you about it because I
know.
was excited about it. I got $11 jeans.
I know. Okay, so let's get back to Caleb.
If you don't mind me asking, though.
Let's get back to Caleb here real quickly. Okay, so now pretty soon you're going to have to start having the wedding showers and that where you guys get the presents and stuff. So you're going, right?
To the wedding showers?
Yes.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah, you need to clarify because there's couple showers and then there's just bridal showers.
I don't know how, I was told by a wise man once said, Rob Cox, that you just need to learn to say two things: yes, ma'am, and I'm sorry.
There you go. Well, that's not bad.
That's some good advice.
It's not bad. Yeah. But you have to go to the couple showers. You can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Because this stuff is for us. This is for our stuff.
This food processor, this juicer is for us.
Right.
That's what you need to say.
Yeah. So you're going to have to experience that.
What kind of decisions have been made? Have you guys picked out a venue and a date and all that stuff, or no?
Well, her mom, they have already booked out, like, looking at a venue every weekend in the future.
Really?
Oh, wow.
So the plan is they always...
So no church wedding?
Well, yes.
Oh.
Would you stop?
What?
Yeah,
I know what you're thinking.
They're getting married at her church, so she grew up Antioch in Little Rock.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
They're going to have the reception at some cool place.
Yeah, because you want to have the booze?
Stop.
Oh, no.
Steve.
You never know.
No, I'm kidding. No, Caleb.
The venue thing, I've never seen Steve hop on a soapbox so fast. When I got married, he was ridiculing us that we weren't getting married in a church.
Well, because look,
we couldn't get
your dad and his dad are both pastors.
No, my dad wasn't a pastor at that point.
Well, he worked for a full-time at a marriage and family ministry.
Okay, the building that my dad is now the pastor in is a school. So they don't have a place for us to get married. It's a school. So you have to meet in like the gym. So there's that. And then the church that his dad pastored could only fit about 50 people.
I know.
So it wasn't practical. But yet every day Steve brought it up saying, it's not really a real wedding. You guys aren't even getting married in the house of God. You're not even getting married. What is this?
Am I wrong?
Yes, you're wrong. I had to defend myself. My gosh.
So you guys are looking for venues, and do we have a date yet?
Yeah, it'll be right now. It's pretty much going to be the weekend before spring break next year.
I don't think we're doing anything that weekend.
Tentatively,
we
yeah.
should be free.
Well, we should be, yeah.
Yeah, we should be open.
I'm still saying Stephen Bethany live from the reception.
No,
That's an
I
extra
won't be a
episode for why?
That could be
I
cool.
won't be a
We
part
could
of
have
that.
we could have interviewed family members.
You know, my father-in-law.
We could
That
interview.
would be cool, actually.
See, this would be such a
Oh.
great
If y'all
memento
interviewed family
for.
members, and we made some cool like.
that would be cool.
Oh,
Okay, that would be
good.
cool. My
See?
father-in-law was
like,
wondering
ask
about
them
that.
what they thought, how the wedding was, or.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Do you feel comfortable turning over your media empire to Caleb?
I think it could be like a rating score, like, you know, from 1 to 5, how much have you enjoyed yourself tonight? Is
There
this
you
a
go.
good wedding or is this
Right.
a boring wedding? What do you think? How's the dancing?
That's
Like, what's
exactly.
this?
See,
My
there's
father-in-law
so
was
much
wondering.
potential there.
My father-in-law though is kind of on your side because he was wondering why we weren't doing the podcast from the reception, and I was like, why would we? That's not our wedding. It's
Actually-
not our thing.
It's a cool idea because if we made a clip where you like just people like y'all had a booth
Yeah.
and people could come up like a cute like it went with the wedding and everything, but they could come up and you could do like quick interviews, like hot seat kind of questions.
You
like,
see?
how long have you known Caleb and Ellie? And then like we put together this cool, you know.
That would be okay.
That's exactly what I was talking.
As long
because
as Ellie
we won't get
agrees.
to talk to everybody.
That's true.
obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as Ellie agrees to it, I'm fine
well,
with it.
yeah, we've got to make sure the bride's on.
But
board.
her vote is top. So Caleb,
It-
as much as you are involved, your vote doesn't matter.
But okay, but here's the thing. Once we get to that point, she could say no on the front end.
Yeah.
But we could still show up and do it. And because here's
We've
the
got a
thing.
year.
But,
That's
right.
the thing.
But here's the thing, though. Brides will be stressed out. I don't want anything extra, you know.
Yeah.
But once the I do's have taken place, stress melts away, and they don't care. That you could just tell them, hey, your entire house burned out. Everything. They don't care. They're
Yeah.
just married. So you know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
That's
so,
true.
So regardless, we should do it. Whether she says
Great
I-
idea, actually. I've never seen anyone really do that.
And we were actually
you
talking.
see, we would be making history here.
We were talking last week, though, that we all kind of have had the desire, except for me. I don't want to include myself on this. You two have had the desire to crash a wedding at some point in your life.
Well, I don't know about desire to crash a wedding.
You just were thinking, like, how hard could that be?
Right.
Because you
right.
could just kind of sneak in,
Well, sure.
basically. Caleb, but you've had the desire to crash a
yeah,
wedding.
my mom and sisters have.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, tell this story.
They
do you
went,
mean?
They went to one in Monroe, Louisiana.
Yeah.
They girls tripping. There was like 4 or 5 of them. They were in Monroe and they saw this.
Does this include Cindy?
No.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Just from girls from our church and my mom and my sisters.
And so they just ran upon a wedding and said, "Hey, let's go in and see."
They were all dressed up. They walked up and went in and they got some cake and bounced.
Very nice.
That's amazing. Did they have anybody talk to him?
Yeah, a few people, but like no one really. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Well, but
pressured
again,
asked them any
Again, if
questions.
you're at a reception, nobody cares. It's a party. It's hey, the stress is over with.
Oh
This is
my
the
word.
ultimate
See,
stress
that
being
just still
over.
feels wrong to me because you don't, you know what I mean? Like it still, it's not. I guess it's not illegal in any way, right? They can
I
get you
guess,
for
no.
anything except maybe
No.
trespassing.
No, unless you're trying to steal the gifts or something.
Yeah,
that
that's
would
not
be-
okay.
It's more fun though when you make a vlog out of it instead
Yeah.
of just doing it for your own fun,
Right.
for other people to see.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know. I just feel like I would end up, you know, somebody would come up and say, like, "Oh, hey, so how do you know so and so?" And I'd be like,
Yeah. You would turn into my
yeah,
daughter.
melt."
Yeah, you would turn into my daughter who
I would
lied about
confess
where
to
she-
murder.
Yeah, where she was from because she was wearing a shirt that said Oklahoma City.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
what was that about?
She was wearing a shirt that had Stillwater, Oklahoma on it, and the principal from her school came up and said, "Oh, are you from Oklahoma?" And my daughter panicked and said, "Yes."
No, she's
and,
not.
And she said, "Oh no, not at all." And and then he said, "Well, what part of Oklahoma?" She said, "Oh, just outside Tulsa."
Oh,
And
my
so,
word, okay.
Well, yeah. Well, she said she was already in it. She didn't know what to say, and she was panicked. And she said, "Well, I moved when I was little."
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's what would happen to
Actually,
you.
Cody kind of semi did that a little bit. Somebody asked him the other day where he was from, and Cody's always said Bryant, and for some reason he said Benton, Arkansas. And he said it came out, and I just went with it. So which
Yeah.
Benton and Bryant though are
Yeah,
close enough where it's not a big
Yeah.
mistake, but
I always
Right.
say Little Rock.
really.
Well, if I'm out of state.
Well,
Oh
sure,
yeah, me too. Yeah, that's the only city people have heard of outside of Arkansas.
Well, pretty much. All right, so let's get this one on the road. We've got a episode today about comparison, and we're calling it, at least unless you people have a different idea. I just thought,
no, roll with it.
you know, the name should be like, you know, when you don't measure up.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that.
let's get to it.
All right. Are you wanting to stop this, Caleb?
No, keep it rolling.
All right, so we'll do. How will that sound better? Should you say the episode first, and then I say the sponsor?
Or I could say all of it. I don't care.
Okay, that's not too much. Okay.
Who's actually had it together today, though?
Well,
Let's think
I know.
about that.
Listen, I
Are you
have.
tired?
I kind of am. I had a long weekend, and I know. And I had to, I had the radio show that I had to do and entertain Arkansas for all of.
It's rough being America's sweetheart.
It is. That came up the other day on
What?
Facebook memories.
You being American sweetheart?
America's Sweetheart. Remember when I won the DJ of the
Oh,
year thing
yeah.
with Caltran, and I was crowned America's Sweetheart?
That was pretty
That popped right back up. I thought
was good.
that was just the other day. Yeah, it was
Oh,
fun.
great.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you want me to phrase it?
Just I don't know. Just brought to you by Andrea Lennon Ministry.
Okay.
All right.
It's episode 44, brought to you by Andrea Lennon Ministries.
All right, welcome back, Hope Dealers. We are glad you're
wait.
here.
Sorry.
What?
Ministry?
I think it's ministry, right? Or is it
I said
ministries?
ministries. I said ministries. I think it's ministry.
I think it is too. All right.
Sorry.
So,
Cut that out.
yeah. Or do we just keep rolling with it?
No, for Patreon, I'll just keep it rolling.
Oh, that's right. We hadn't really started yet.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. So, just forget everything you just heard.
Sorry.
For the most part.
All right.
You know. All right. All right. Here we go again.
It's episode 44, brought to you by Andrea Lennon Ministry.
Welcome back, Hope Dealers. We are glad that you're here. It's Stephen Bethany, and we're excited about. Well, okay. See, that just drives me crazy.
What?
Okay, I just
you
used
need
the
to do your
word.
thing.
No. I used the word that I wanted to avoid using. I had this whole thing that I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
How many times do you hear, whether it's podcasts, whether it's something on the radio, something on television, or any other kind of media thing, that the hosts always say, we're excited. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crutch word, and we use that term crutch because you have to like lean on it. That's
Yeah.
just a phrase you use over and over. And I thought to myself, I had this driving here actually, not today, but a couple of days ago when we did a podcast. That's something we need to have like a bell or something that we don't say that.
Oh,
because
yeah.
everybody says
You know-
excited. And I just about started the episode with it.
Two things. If we do that, if we do the bell, I'm going to need an extra one because we tease my father-in-law that when he preaches, he always says, like, let's just get excited. I mean, God's word is doing some amazing things. Like, let's just get excited.
Right.
He says that a lot. So I'll need an extra one, though, so I could kind of, like, ding,
Right.
whenever he says it. But no, they do that in, like, professional speech
Yeah. They do,
courses or whatever.
absolutely.
You get a ding every time you say, like, or a filler word or whatever
And
that
in
is.
this case, I think every podcast host around this world uses the word excited. I think every radio host,
But it
every
fits,
television
though.
host.
It's easy.
It does, see, exactly.
It's easy.
That's why we should be the abnorm. We should not be in that trap.
That's probably
so.
true. We're not excited to have you here.
No, yeah,
We're not.
We're thrilled.
We're thrilled.
We're
delighted.
thrilled. See, there's so many other. There's so many other versions of that word in the English language.
We'll have to come up with a new one every week.
Yes.
How we're feeling.
So we're off to a rocking start here. Do we need to start over?
No, let's keep
Okay,
it
I
rolling.
think we're doing okay. All right, so today we're going to be talking about comparison.
Yes.
And what that really means and what that looks like. Because even somebody like me, who I would think, I don't like to compare myself to people, when I really start to thinking about it, maybe I kind of do.
Yeah.
And what can we do to guard against that and how to handle comparison? We'll be getting to that coming up here in a little bit. But I also want to tell you real quick about Tees for Bibles. That is our ministry arm of our podcast. We have got several styles, several different colors, sizes, and designs that you can buy at our merch store, and all of the proceeds go to buying Bibles. It's really pretty cool. It's something for us to try to bridge a gap that I saw the statistic, and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about, 80, 90% of Christians around the world don't have access to a Bible. So
Right.
we want to try to do that by in a fun way, by buying one of our T-shirts, and then for every shirt you buy, a Bible gets sent. So check it out. The link is in the show notes.
It's a pretty
So-
great reason, I think, to
It
buy
really is.
a T-shirt. Getting a Bible to somebody.
Absolutely. So let's help us get God's word to the world, because that's what we
Exactly.
want to do with that. So comparison, we'll be getting to that coming up here in due course. But weekend, what'd you do this weekend?
I had a fun weekend. Cody and I actually went hiking. I've been wanting to do that for probably like a month now. And then, we got hit with an insane amount of snow. And so that pushed back my plans a little bit. But
well, insane amount for where we live.
Well, yeah, 13 inches is like unheard of in Arkansas.
Those living in Antarctica listening to us are like, really?
No, we don't have anybody in Antarctica. Remember?
Well, you don't know that.
We want that.
Yeah, we want that.
Anyways, Alaska, you guys know what we're talking about. But yeah, so the weather was beautiful this past weekend, and so we went hiking and walked around. We actually went back to the place where we got engaged because it's kind of a smaller like park, and I don't know, it doesn't have as many people, so there's a little bit more quiet areas to hike, and the view is great, so you can go up and...
Did you guys smooch?
No.
Are you sure?
I know, I was slip sliding all over the rocks. That's what happened. I'm not kidding. It was, this is the thing, 2.5 years in, this is what changes. Hiking is not a romantic activity. We just go because it's like, it's beautiful outside. Let's hang out. Let's spend some time together. But no, there's no like canoodling and smooching up top. None of that. Because I was joking with Cody the whole way up. My shoes don't have any grip at the bottom. I have these tennis shoes and they're great for running around and working out and stuff, but they're not great hiking shoes. I swear I heard my knee pop. I really did. I got up on a rock and I kind of stepped to the side and I just went, oh! And he goes, what? And I was like, my knee popped. And we're halfway up this mountain area right here. And Cody looks back at me and is like, okay, well, don't blow out your ACL right now. We're not to the top yet. So we made it to the top, took some pictures, looked around a little bit, and then headed back down.
Again, that's 2.5 years in. You're not holding hands going up. Hey, don't break your knee. What's going on? I don't want to carry you down.
Cody doesn't like to hold hands.
Oh.
Okay. We don't really hold hands that much. The only time we hold hands is if we're driving, like in the car, or we're sitting down like in church or something. But we don't hold hands when we're walking. I think it's the height difference. Cody's arms are a lot longer than mine, and his stride is longer than mine, and so I have to sprint to keep up, and yeah, so we don't really hold hands when we're walking. I give him a hard time about it. I'm like, you won't, come on, like you won't hold your wife's hand. He's like, no, I'll put my arm around you or whatever once we sit down, but when we're walking, no.
Like
do you and Jana hold hands?
Yeah.
When you're walking?
Uh-huh.
You're walking
not all the time, but I mean,
I'm saying like you're walking from your car into the church parking or in the church parking lot. You're holding hands.
Could be, yeah. I mean, not like every time, but not every time.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just occasionally.
Because Cody and I really don't, and it's funny. I look at some couples; they always hold hands. Other couples don't. I don't know. It just kind of varies, but we don't. It's fine.
So for me, on my weekend was.
Oh yeah, how was your weekend, Steve?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking. my oldest came home from college.
Oh yeah.
And so we're there with him, and he needed some money, which college student obviously needs money and stuff. And my wife was like, well, I would have given him more at Christmas if I knew that I wasn't going to see him until now. And I thought to myself, holy cow, has he not been home since Christmas?
Has he not?
She said, no, he has not. I was like, wow.
I thought he had a job up there. Does he not have a job?
Well, he just got a job. He had a couple things fall through on him, but he had just, like literally, he had completed like 2 days worth of work at his new job up there.
Nice.
Which was really cool. And it's his first job. And, all that, but I didn't realize it's been a quarter of a year since I've seen my oldest, you know?
And you didn't even notice.
I didn't really even notice, no, because we do FaceTime a lot, and especially his little brother, who will be 7 soon. He loves the FaceTime.
Very sweet.
You know, so he'll grab the phone and just out of the blue, he'll dial FaceTime, and the older one picks up, and they'll talk and chat. And we'll catch up with him a little bit. But, you know, because of like you mentioned earlier, the snow and a lot of other stuff, we just hadn't seen him in literally a quarter of the year.
Yeah.
And so
what about Amber, your second born? Is she thinking about college yet or no? Because how old is she? 15?
Yeah.
So is she thinking about that yet, or is that kind of still off the radar?
She kind of is. She's, I think, and don't anybody tell her because she's not going to listen to the podcast, but I think she's a little bit intimidated.
Oh yeah,
I think she
get that.
Thinks that she's not smart enough to go to college, which is absolutely the furthest thing from truth.
Right.
But I don't know what she wants to do. I don't think, and obviously she doesn't know what she wants to do. But no, I think she'll find something that she's passionate about. And she'll
totally
figure it out. But yeah, she's got plenty of time. But no, she hasn't yet. Not as of right now.
I think that's okay. But I think that's a very normal feeling to feel, especially during that age of, you're kind of halfway through high school basically, and you're starting to think about what's next, and it's a lot.
Well, see, that's her thing. She's very anxious about stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm sure she's thinking like that all the time.
It's just internal though.
Yeah,
maybe
internal
not so
a lot.
verbal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of the things, she has that kind of mentality and personality wired that way, because she even said famously the other day, she's like Amelia Earhart. I think about that every day. What happened with her?
So, well, listen,
that kind of thing.
a lot of things keep me up at night. I don't know if that's one of them.
Well,
but
see, that's what she talks
now it
about.
is, though. Now that it's been brought to my attention.
Well, that's what kind of consumes her thoughts a
Yeah.
lot. But anyway, no, she's doing good, and she was in a little production, I guess. I don't know if that's really the right term, but our youth choir did had night at church, and they were in charge of everything. So they did the music, they did some skits, and they had the preaching and
Nice.
stuff. And so she was in a couple of the skits and knocked it out of the park. It was
Cool.
so good. So that was good too. And then the little one is incredibly over the moon because we have made a decision. We're going to take a family vacation to Disney World.
Very fun.
Which, by the way, I'm making plans to do the podcast on
From
location
Disney World?
Disney World.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's almost done. It's almost a done
That'll
deal.
be cool.
But a 6, almost 7-year-old has no concept really of time.
Yeah.
So
When are you guys going?
we're going to go in
Couple
May.
months? Okay.
We're going to go in May. Well, okay. In his mind, make means, in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so he's asking all the questions. Let's get packed up. Let's, I need luggage. I need this. And just da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Dude, we're not leaving for a while.
Are you guys driving or flying?
No, we're going to fly.
Okay.
Because, look, I think I told you this. I was telling somebody. But we had a Christian music conference there in Orlando at Washington, at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And they have this thing called, I think it's the Magic Express is what they call it.
Oh, yeah.
They pick you up from the
It's
airport.
it's VIP experience.
And they drive you. They drop your bags off. You don't even
Yeah.
have to touch your bags. And then you go to your room. You play at Disney for a week.
Right.
You pack back up and you leave it on the doorstep. And they put it on the bus. And then they'll put it on the plane.
It's incredible.
Oh, it's awesome. So
Yeah.
we're going to take advantage of that.
Nice.
So we're looking forward to that.
I support
coming
that.
up.
I've only had that experience one time with the music conference that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've only had the VIP experience one time, and it sticks out in my mind because you feel like way
Yeah.
more important than you are. I mean,
Yeah.
you feel like incredible. It's a great experience.
Yeah, and of course Disney does it right. You pay everything up front, so you're like a high roller.
Yeah.
Everything's free. You know,
Yeah, it feels like it.
Well,
It's
right.
not.
It's really not.
It's
But you
not.
feel like, oh, hey, give me one of those drinks over
Yeah.
here. I need one of those Mickey Mouse cups.
Yeah.
Stat. You know, so that's
Give
cool.
me a juice box.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Good stuff.
All right, so let's get into comparison. We'll insert the ad let's do the generic Andrea one here, and then we'll do the booking one second.
Okay.
And is that all right? Everybody cool with that? I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
I have strong feelings about it, so.
Okay. So, all right.
Hey.
Why don't you tease Patreon coming out, and then we'll.
Okay.
and
You
then-
and you kind of start
then
it?
I
Okay.
guess I'll kind of start it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, friends, we're going to be getting into the topic of comparison here in just a minute. But before we do that, just want to remind you that if you're not a member of our Patreon family, you should be, because there are a ton of perks that come with being a member of Patreon. You get the show early, you get it ad-free, you get bonus episodes, bonus content, early access to contests, all kinds of fun stuff. So the tiers start at just $5, but they go up to $15. Be sure to check it out, patreon.com. Look up Steve and Bethany's Hopecast, or just look down below in the show notes. You can go and follow the link down there.
And we're going to be talking about comparison today. Bethany texted me this idea. I guess it's been a couple of weeks back,
Yeah, a
and
while
we're finally getting around to doing the episode. And I think it's something that we all kind of struggle with, or at least I struggle with
Yeah.
sometimes. And
Now,
I
you can
struggle
say
with it.
we. I
and
think everybody deals with it.
I struggle with it in maybe different ways than some people, because I think when you first hear the term struggling with comparison, boy, you're matching up against somebody else's life.
Yeah.
You see someone else's life from afar and you think, man, why can't I have that? What's wrong with me because I don't have that?
Right. I think everybody does deal with it, and I think you're right. It varies. You know, certain people struggle with maybe comparison in, you know, physical things like house and clothing and cars that everybody drives and things like that. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's how your kids behave versus how another family's kids
that's a big
behave.
one, yeah.
All kinds of things. So they do vary from person to person, but to a certain extent, everybody does deal with it. And I think that's why it's so important to kind of talk about this, because comparison feels very isolating. It can make you feel like I'm the only one that deals with this. I'm the only one that feels this way. I struggle with this, and everybody else has it together and they're all fine and I'm not. And that's such a lie. I mean, nobody has it together, first of all. But I think that's why it's so important to know, first and foremost, who you are in Christ, if you have a relationship with the Lord, what that looks like, and who you are in him and how he's made you. And then also accept the reality that, yeah, no one has it together. And what you're maybe seeing on social media or seeing, kind of posted and talked about in your friend groups or whatever, that's a highlight reel. That's like the best of the best. You're getting a glossed over, filtered version of what's going on in someone's life. And so if you kind of put on the lenses of reality and knowing like, okay, but what's actually happening? What's really going on? Nobody's got it together. Nobody's perfect. I think you'll move forward in a healthier way when you do that.
All right, well, let's strip it down. We know that on the surface.
Yeah.
What is it something that you struggle with comparison-wise?
Oh, gosh.
Because if you need to take time to think, I can.
Yeah, you
I
go.
can start.
Let me think about it. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I will say that if you brought the topic up to me, Steve, do you feel insecure or inadequate versus someone else?
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all. But when you really start to think about it, or at least when I really start to think about it, there are times when I'll look at somebody at my stage in life, because I'm quite a bit older than you are. They're on track for retirement. They're put in so much time in a career that they seem like they're enjoying, and they've got a nice house, they've got the nice cars, they get the kids and everything, and maybe we don't have as nice of stuff. So that kind of tweaks at me a little bit. But I'll tell you the thing I struggle with the most in comparison is with this podcast.
Really?
I really do, because I want so bad for this podcast to grow for two reasons. Number one, to be something financially for our family, but also right up there next to it is to be able to help other people and to be able to encourage people in their faith and to be able to take what we know from church and be able to put it into our lives on a consistent basis to make a difference in our worlds. So, I mean, those are important to me. And I look around and I know you're going to hear me say this and you're going to think, Steve, come on, be realistic.
Yeah.
But remember, we had Matthew West on.
Right.
And he was here. One of the things he was doing was promoting his new podcast.
Yeah.
Well, he was on after that, and or after our episode, he released on social media, hey, thanks so much, everybody, for listening to the podcast. We had 400,000 downloads our first week.
Yeah.
And now, look, he's Matthew West.
Yeah.
I get, he's a singer-songwriter. He's an author. He's famous all around the world. And so his fan base is going to eat up a podcast. We're not that.
Right.
I know that in my mind.
But it still is like,
it stings.
Why don't we have that?
Yeah, why don't, not even all of 400,000. Why can't we get close to that? Because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're growing and we're still the little podcast that could, but we're light years away from that right now. But you look at it realistically, look, we're not even 10 months old yet.
Right.
So, I mean, you've got to look at apples to apples. And I know that's not it, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that it does bother me a little bit.
Yeah.
It does work on my emotions that I want our podcast to grow for those reasons and to be able to help our advertisers too, as far as their businesses that choose to advertise with us. I want to be able to help them grow their business.
Yeah.
I don't want them to just, Steve and Bethany has a good podcast, let's give them money. Let's try to help them with and introduce our audience to them and all those things. And I feel like, why aren't we getting better? Why aren't we? And but
we are though. Yeah.
The fact of the matter is we are. We grow every single week.
Yeah.
It's just not at the rate that I wish it was.
Yeah.
And that kind of bothers me. I wish it didn't, but it kind of does.
I think though that's the difference in our personality, because I think you, like, right when we first released our first episode, you were like, okay, we're gonna have 100,000 downloads in the first week.
Well, I didn't put that
that's an
number on it,
exaggeration,
but that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, and I felt like the little rain cloud that was like, Steve, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just like bring it on down.
Well,
but I think that's a good balance, like. Because you're the kind of person that can be like, no, we got to think big. We got to, figure out how we can grow and do this and this and this. And then I'm like the little Eeyore that's going, okay, hold on. How's this going to work?
Right.
Let's just think about this.
Right.
That's me. And so I feel like we do bring a good balance. But I get what you're saying. I think it's normal to feel, especially when this has been a passion project for us. Like the podcast has really been something that we've put a lot of effort into, a lot of thought, a lot of prayer into, and it's something that we've wanted for a long time. And so when we don't have instantaneous results, it's frustrating and hard because you're looking at other podcasts that maybe have a bigger platform, and they're getting what seems like overnight success, and we're kind of going, okay, seriously? Like, why not? You know?
Yeah, and it's not just necessarily these Christian artists that have the big audience already built in. It's people maybe you've never heard of, and I look at their numbers versus our numbers, and it's like, really?
What are they doing that we're not? And
Yes, that is the question I ask myself all the time when I think about this podcast. What is that person doing? Which is healthy in some ways, but if you let it consume you, if you let it just drive everything that you do, it can be, it's a never-ending battle, because there's always going to be somebody out there that has, there's better, smarter, prettier, everything more than you are. But that's okay. And you have to learn to live within your own skin and live within your own platform that God has given you.
I think while you were talking, I was thinking, I think my two things that I struggled with, the first one was more when I was a little younger and kind of first starting my professional career. I felt like, I was really young when I started. I was 19 when I first got my job in radio and started kind of doing that full time. So I was 19 and, very young. I look young for my age as well. I kind of have a baby face. And so I think early on I struggled with feeling like, are people taking me seriously? Because I want this and I'm working hard and I'm trying to do good and be good at my job. And sitting in business meetings with people that are twice your age can be a little intimidating. And I think there were times where I felt like, okay, I'm barely out of high school and I'm a girl, so am I being taken seriously here? And that was a good chance, though, for me to kind of realize, like, I can't make that an excuse of, oh, they didn't like my idea. Well, it's just because I'm 19. Oh, it's just because I'm a girl. That can't be my excuse. I have to go back to my idea and think, is this a good one? And am I working as hard as I can at this? And honestly, just not get too hung up on that, because I think eventually I got better, and I think, more and more people kind of respected my opinion and that kind of thing. But I just started thinking about it less. I know that maybe sounds like I'm oversimplifying, but now I really don't think about it. I just know who I am and know what I do, and that's kind of where it is for me.
Well, let me ask you, as a young lady, did you ever have any body type issues, any kind of feeling less than as far as looks goes or anything like that? And the reason I bring that up is because your sister is one of the girly girls, right? She's very much into fashion, very much into glitz
makeup
and glamour, makeup, the whole thing, right? and you're not as much, at least anyway.
Well, my sister's the reason I know how to brush my hair, so I'll say that.
Okay.
But no, I really didn't. I think because I don't know. I never dealt with that, and I'm really glad I didn't. I was there when a lot of my friends went through body issues and stuff like that, and kind of had to process that. But no, I really didn't. I think my thing was I always had people thinking I was younger than I am, and it's funny at the first few times it happens, but then, like, I had somebody literally 6 months ago ask me if I was 14. That's offensive. I was kind of like, no, I'm not. I'm wearing a wedding ring. Like, this is legal. Like, no, I'm not 14. So I laugh about it, and it's really not a big deal. But I'm thankful. I never dealt with body issue stuff in high school or younger or anything. But I think I credit a lot of that to just my parents. Like, they were very encouraging and saying, God made you exactly how he did. You're beautiful. You've got a lot going for you. Like, we love you for who you are. You don't have to look like this. You don't have to look like that. You are who you are. They kind of set that standard for me and that precedent for me. And so growing up, of course, it's easy to compare yourself to your siblings. So for my sister, she's super girly and is beautiful. And so, of course, I kind of thought, well, I'm younger, so maybe I'll look like her when I get older or something like that. So that was the comparison that I had, I think, when I was younger. But now as adults, I look at my sister, and of course she's stunning, and I love how she is made and all that she has done, and just how just all the things that she's into. She's into so many things that I'm necessarily not into, but I appreciate what she does. And so the comparison there isn't as strong anymore. But definitely when I was younger, I think I kind of thought, oh, maybe I should brush my hair. Maybe I should put on a little chapstick or something, And so that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, though.
Well,
I was going to say the second thing now, I think it's just more of practical stuff. Like, as a wife, okay, am I doing enough to love my husband? Am I doing enough to kind of provide for our home and make sure it's nice? And am I doing enough to keep up on laundry and like kind of different, more practical things, I think, just as a spouse.
Well, do you find yourself comparing somebody in your age group, friends that you know, looking at their life, looking at their house, looking at their whatever laundry situation? Do you ever think, man, she's got it going on and I'm just over here trying to fumble to put things together?
I think probably when I first got married, yes. When I first got married, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I hope I'm doing a good job. Like, I wanted to be a good wife, whatever that looked like in my mind. I had a standard in my head of what that was, and I wanted to meet that. And so I wanted to, have my house look perfect all the time, and I wanted to be like little Betty Crocker, just like making amazing meals all the time. And I've learned, I think, even though we haven't been married an incredibly long time, I've learned that sometimes the house doesn't look perfect. Sometimes you pick up, Chick-fil-A on the way home. That's fine. Sometimes the laundry is not getting done today and you move it to tomorrow, and that's okay, because the heart behind it of service and wanting to take care of your home and wanting to serve my husband, that's more important, the heart behind it. And nobody has it together. Nobody's life is perfect. And so I think as long as you're striving to serve and to love your spouse and love your kids and provide for your home, that's the end goal. That's what you want. It doesn't have to look perfect, and it doesn't have to look like anybody else's.
Well, before we conclude, because I know we're running out of time, let's go ahead and circle back to something we were talking about earlier about body image type.
Yeah.
I'm just envisioning there's some young lady, maybe your age, maybe younger, maybe a little older, that is having body issue, and they look and they say, man, that girl in my life is just so perfect in her everything.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel adequate. What would you say to that person?
Well, I think I would say, well, why are you feeling that way? Is it like what in your life is telling you that you're not enough? Is it the fact that you're on Instagram a lot and you're scrolling through Snapchat, or you're on Instagram or Facebook or whatever? Are you being fed messages that you need to look a certain way? And if so, maybe cut those things out. One of my good friends, she went off of social media for 2 months, and she said, I had lunch with her the other day, and she was like, that was the best thing I've done in a long time. It was so good for me. So she would highly recommend that, and I think I would too. And I think too, just talking to somebody about it. The more you talk about the things that you struggle with, I think the less scary they seem and the less power they have over your own mind. Because when you just are hearing messages in your own head of, that girl's skinnier than you, and you're not, like, you look like this, or you look like that, or her hair's better than yours, or whatever. If you start allowing those messages to just sit in your head and not go anywhere, they become reality and they become truth to you. And I think voicing them to a trusted friend or a mentor, or, that person in your life that you can count on, can really help those things kind of seem more minor. And just saying, listen, I struggle with this. I deal with this. And then, okay, how do you move forward?
I think verbalizing it is the key to someone that you trust, just like what you said, because all of a sudden now you're not alone. All of a sudden now you realize that person who maybe you're looking up to, they don't have it all together either. And there's so much relief in that. There's so much anxiety that just kind of melts away when you realize, hey, I don't have it together. This person doesn't have it together.
Well, and that person that you're comparing yourself to probably feels the exact same way about somebody else. Like, but that girl's got it. She's more whatever. And I think that's the thing that you have to accept, is that literally everyone deals with this in some way or form. Everyone deals with it. Even people that have the most money, the biggest house, the nicest cars, they're still comparing themselves to someone. And so, just getting it out there in the open and being honest about it. And then again, just circling back to knowing who you are in Christ and where your identity is found, and that he's made you perfectly and wonderfully. And it's just something that you can't compare, because each person is so unique. And so, really knowing just who you are in Christ, I think, is where it all kind of has to come back to.
That was great. That was really good. When you hit that, I thought, man, that's the close. That's the wrap right there. That's perfect. Good job. That was really good. Is that really good, Caleb?
Got my pulpit. Yes. I needed to go like that. Don't compare yourself to Instagram.
Brothers and sisters.
Y'all.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
Okay. All right, so we are ready now for what are we going to talk about this segment?
Andrea.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's. I'll bring it back with. I'll talk about. We talked about Tees for Bibles. I'll talk about that contest.
Yeah.
And all right, here we go. All right, before we wrap this one up here this week, we want to let you know about a brand new contest we've got going on, and it's something fun. At least I think it's fun.
I think it is.
Where we're giving away a $100 Stephen Bethany prize pack, and we're doing that with Guess the Guest. Okay, so we've got a celebrity
It's a
that
tongue
we
twister.
are going to be interviewing really soon on a podcast near you. And we're giving clues each week in our Hope Blast newsletter. So what we want you to do, sign up for the Hope Blast. Really simple, really free, best part about it. And every week you'll get all kinds of cool, fun stories. You'll get updates on the podcast and all kinds of stuff. And it's just a way to connect with you.
Yeah.
It's a different way. And so sign up for the Hope Blast, and you'll get the clues as to who our guest is. And then if you are one of the right answers, we'll put everybody who gets it correct into a hat. We'll draw for that $100 prize pack. So sign up. It's free again, and you can do so down below in the show notes. It's a link right there for you.
And this episode might have sounded a little different, and that's because we have a brand new sponsor. Woo! Super excited. Andrea Lennon is one of our favorite people of all
And you
time.
use the word excited.
Sorry, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled
That's
about
two,
this.
That's 2 today. Mark that down over
Sorry.
there, Caleb.
Yeah, we have the little
gonna
whiteboard there, like
we're
prison
gonna-
marks.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna get this straight. We're never gonna say that word again.
Well,
So,
I'm
sorry.
excited.
I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, shoot. No.
See?
Shoot.
That's 3, Caleb.
No,
So-
okay.
So
I'm thrilled.
I know. There you go.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I'm
Jazzed.
jazzed that Andrea Lennon is one of our brand new sponsors. Andrea Lennon Ministry is her kind of umbrella term, but Andrea has been a good friend of ours for, gosh, how long have we known her?
Oh, a long time.
Like 5
yeah.
years or something
least,
like that.
yeah.
At least 5 years. She has been a sweet, sweet friend, a great just mentor to me, and has given me some wonderful advice over the years. I just so appreciate her friendship. And she decided to partner with us on this podcast. And she's got a lot of fun things going on. She has an ebook that you can get for free, so you can look down below in the show notes there and get that. But she's really taken advantage, I feel like, of the season of COVID, because, you know, her main job is to travel around the country and do conferences for women. And so she hasn't been able to do that with COVID. And so she has taken advantage of this, and she does amazing things on social media and posts videos of just encouragement. And then she's released this ebook for just encouragement to women.
Yeah, and she also is taking bookings right now. And if you've got a church that's in your church, or someone you know's church that is looking to put together one of those spring conferences for ladies, or maybe in the fall do something.
Yeah.
Andrea would be a wonderful keynote speaker. And again, you can get that ebook, find out her heart, go to her website, check out all the different things that she's got going on. Because I'm telling you, she's passionate about teaching the Bible to ladies. And if that's in your wheelhouse, she is, I mean, she's right. You think of all the great lady teachers out there, and there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
Andrea
is up there.
She really is. She can hold her own with any of those. She's got the heart, but she also has the Bible knowledge. So Andrea Lennon Ministry.
We're pumped about that.
So coming up next week, we are going to be diving back into a topic that is one of our most downloaded episodes.
It is Ask Us Anything 2.0.
That's right. We're going to be taking your questions, and Caleb's going to be asking them to us, and we're going to be answering them here. And we've got a lot of them already in. We're really appreciative of that.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to that next week.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. I guess that's it. Is
think
that
it
it?
is, yeah.
Wrap on episode 44?
I think it is. I think it's time to close this mama down. You know, Tony Evans.
Don't say close this mama down.
Well, Tony Evans, that's one of his phrases that I just picked up that I love. You know, Dr. Tony Evans
Yeah.
from The Alternative.
Of course.
Yeah, one of the things was he said in a sermon one time, we're going to shut this mama down. And I just love that phrase.
Steve wrote that in capital letters in his notes.
Yes, that's
Shut
right.
this mama down. All
said,
right.
use that often. So that's what I said. So,
Bye, you guys. Oh, you need to say your thing.
well, yeah,
Good
I
night,
was
Olive
waiting.
Branch.
I was waiting for you to do the credits.
I said my. Oh, I forgot about the credits.
Yes.
Well,
So,
you didn't tell me that.
Now go ahead.
Okay, sorry. This podcast is brought to you by Blue Stream Media. And so for all of your audiovisual needs, if you have any live events, be sure to use them. They do a fantastic job. They make us look good here
Yes.
at the Hopecast. It's TJ Nichols and Caleb Reese. They're great friends of ours. So be sure to check them out, bluestreammedia.com. It's BLU streammedia.com.
And for everything that you hear that you don't like, the mistakes that we make,
Yep.
it's all on them.
Exactly.
They're the ones who decided to give us
They
this
are the
platform.
complaint department.
That's exactly right. So we appreciate you being here. And until next week when we ask you or answer anything you send to us, we'll talk to you next week. Good night, Olive Branch. All right, so now.
Oh, wait. You were looking at the wrong camera. I need you to be looking at that one.
I'm sorry.
You
Sorry.
do that. They literally tell us which one it is. Look at that.
How do they tell us which one it is?
Just watch the screen.
Oh,
That's the camera that's on.
well, okay. All right. I didn't realize.
Did you not know that?
Well, yeah, I didn't know how.
How do you think I know
so
where to look?
switch it. Go ahead and switch, Caleb, to one of the other cameras. Oh, all right.
That's how
All
you
right.
know.
So, all right. Sorry.
I was trying to indicate.
Well,
I
'cause
was
it
going like,
seems
did you not see
every
me
time-
doing that? I was going like this.
Seems like every time I'm looking at the monitor up there, it's
Yeah.
always on the two shot.
Yeah, because it's normally on the 2-shot.
I
It only
guess.
switches when one of us goes on a soapbox rant.
Right. Well,
But-
okay. And
but
I'm usually looking you in the eye.
I was
for
I
that.
was going like this. Did you not see me doing
well,
that?
I thought you were having one of your little spells.
Well, that too. I was trying to tell you to look at the other camera. Let's get to the aftercast. Aftercast.
There it is.
Oh my word.
All right,
This
so-
is what I get for trying to be a good help.
So this is what we've got for this week. A good friend of the show has developed his own line of coffee.
Yes.
And you are a coffee nerd.
Coffee nerd. I love coffee, fully addicted to it. I'm unashamed in that.
I mean, you have your own, like the grinder, and you
Yeah.
have the own. What all coffee accoutrements do you have?
Well, my collection is small compared to my dad's. My dad is the
Oh, yeah, he's
real
the OG.
like OG coffee nerd in
Yeah.
our family, so he's got pretty much every coffee gadget you can imagine. My collection's a little smaller. I've got a couple French presses. I have pour over stuff. I recently got a frother so I can make like espressos at home or lattes at home. Pretty excited about that. I've got a coffee pot there. I have my grinder. I have a coffee scale. Yeah, things like that.
I had no idea half of these things were even a thing.
What do you
until
think those
just-
things are? Oh, my dad has. What's the thing that my dad has? Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. But it's basically you have to use a little butane burner underneath it, and it's a siphon. That's what it's called. And it has like 2 glass pots on top, and it uses a vacuum seal to bring the coffee down. It's there's a whole science behind it. It's great, but
Good
it brews a
grief.
great cup of coffee.
Okay, well, our buddy has put together, he's a big listener, his name is Wes. He's put
Yeah.
together his own coffee company. He's called it Lucky Mug.
Lucky Mug.
And so what we did was earlier today, just moments ago,
Moments ago.
we went into the palatial studio kitchen here at the podcast
Palatial,
studio.
nice descriptive word. I see
Thank
you.
you very much. You know, I'm
You went to school. You went to college.
not just another pretty face. You know that. So we decided we were going to do this on the fly. This was absolutely legit because I know you're big. You know, if you don't like it, you're going to spit it out.
Yes.
You're not. Yeah. So we had Caleb and we had TJ.
And Caleb doesn't even drink coffee.
Yeah, and I don't really
and you
either.
don't either.
Not much. I mean, maybe occasionally I'll have a cappuccino.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no.
No.
So-
You don't like coffee to taste like coffee. That's what you've told me
For the
before.
most part, yes.
Yeah.
If you can kill the coffee taste, I'm all in.
Right.
So TJ is a big coffee drinker though
Yep.
as well. So what we did, so basically 2 people that know what they're talking about, and then the 2 others in the kitchen, and we brewed a pot of coffee, and we decided to go on the fly. We're going to do this for real. This is no makeup. This is not like, oh, this stuff is great. Like,
Yeah.
remember the I Love Lucy when she
Oh
started
yeah,
thinking this stuff
Vitamita
in-
Vegemin.
Right, exactly. And she's like,
Do you remember though? Because it has the high alcohol content, and
Right,
then she
and she
goes,
got-
"Do you pop out at parties?" I used to be able to recite that entire scene.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact for you.
So it's not that.
It's not that.
It's completely legit. So our 100% accurate and legitimate thoughts on Lucky Mug Coffee, which is going to be a sponsor as we move through. We wanted to give you an opportunity to check it out, the video, because we're going to give you an opportunity, just a super secret thing for you as patrons, Hope dealers. You're going to get some free samples yourself.
Just a few little things.
So
That's just one of the many things that we'll do for you.
check it out. Here's our video.
Coffee tastes like.
All right, here we go. Lucky Mug taste testing. We've got the two Jarvises. We've got the coffee snob, and here we go.
That's rude. I think it's.
But is it not true?
Well, maybe it's. I don't know if it's done.
What was the beat?
It was beeped, but it's still like dripping.
This is what happens when you use a Keurig.
True now.
You don't know how to use a regular coffee maker
Okay,
anymore.
I don't own a Keurig. Thank you.
Hey,
She goes and
She orders at
rides
the
a
drive-thru.
llama down to the peninsula
I
of
rub the beans
Columbia
myself and
and
crush
grabs
them with
it.
my
Yeah.
hands. Okay, we're gonna call it. If not, I'll just put it on under.
All right. So what flavor is this we got going here?
This is Khao Jai, I think. Khao Jai?
All right. It's a medium roast. Ooh, it smells good.
It does. You like the smell of coffee though, don't you?
Single origin.
coffee.
I don't know. I don't think that's Japanese. I don't know.
Okay, we'll try.
All right, so here we go. Here, take
I
that
don't
one.
drink coffee.
I don't. Well, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Today you're drinking
Today
coffee.
you're drinking
It's probably
coffee.
gonna be really hot.
Because I don't drink coffee either, but this is gonna be good. So, all right. Well, TJ, wait on everybody else.
Blowing it. It's
Well,
gonna
no,
burn
it's
my
gonna be
face
really
off.
hot.
Okay.
It's
All right.
very hot.
You should
All right.
pause the video and wait till it cools down.
To be continued.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd
All
rather
right.
not burn
Here we
my
go.
face.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. Down the hatch.
That's hot.
That's very hot, but that's good.
It is good.
That's very hot though. Hold on.
You have to actually sip it.
You have to, yeah. Like loud. You gotta do it.
Gosh, that's hot.
I like
So-
that though. That's good.
My tongue's bleeding.
And
So initial reactions.
very good.
Very
I
good.
like it.
It's actually
Yes.
good. But I don't know the difference between the roast, medium roast, dark roast.
Well,
No,
this
it's
is a
okay.
medium roast, and that's okay.
Did you try it?
I did. Yeah.
So it's like a
Did you?
dark roast.
I
Like,
did.
Is a dark roast like black or coffee?
I have no idea.
It's just
Ask
been
Bethany.
roasted longer. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If it's a lighter roast, it's like more green, basically.
Gotcha.
Now you hate coffee, so what do you think of that?
I hate coffee, but I don't hate is a strong word. I don't like coffee that much, but this is good.
I like
for,
it.
For
And you're drinking coffee like a man because you got black coffee. I'm proud of
right.
you.
Now my son tried the warm apple pie.
Mm-hmm.
Put about half milk in it. Said it was the bomb. He
That's
loved
okay.
They make
So all
warm
around
apple
a
pie
win.
coffee.
it. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah,
Warm apple pie coffee.
yeah. That's all of a sudden.
Now he's
Caleb's here.
interested.
Caleb's a coffee drinker.
Yeah.